Alright, so let's start with emulator and game version. For emulator, I recommend VBA re-recording. The other that's accepted on the leaderboards is BizHawk, which is more accurate compared to console, but VBA is used a lot more. That's what I use as well. And you're going to want the Japanese version generally. It's pretty appreciably faster on the text, and also makes the EXP glitching on the Golem more consistent. Having the text in Japanese isn't too much of a hindrance. There's not very much you need to know. This first option is New Game. Now you're going to need any save file in order to be able to skip this cutscene. It takes forever to get through, so you're going to want to do that ahead of time. And then at the start of the run is when I generally customize my controls. This top section controls which buttons are bound to what action. Type A and Type B just switch L and R. By default, I believe L is dash and R is your sub-weapon button. Mode B reverses that. And then this third one is custom. You can change whatever you want in here. So whether or not you do anything with this top half is entirely up to you, just based on what you want stuff bound to. The bottom half controls what the sub-weapon button does, and you're going to want that on Type B. The other two options are not playable, at least for like optimal speedrunning. So do whatever you have to do in the menu, and then switch to Type B. A nice thing about doing that at the start of the run here is you will be able to fire your buster with both attack weapons after you change the controls. So it makes firing lemons really quick and easy, which is important for a couple things. You're going to want to kill that first Pantheon guy. It takes, I think 3 lemons if you're dashing. Maybe less. It is possible to jump over all 3 of these guys, but it's pretty tricky. It's a lot easier to just kill that guy as you're dashing to the right. And it might not be clear, but I normally start a second dash. I don't just like do one dash and a jump. I dash and then quickly start another one and jump from that. It's possible to clear this spider nest without getting hit, but it's pretty tricky. It's a lot easier to just bump into the spider. We're going to be concerned about what our health is at throughout the run of this particular stage, since we need it to be pretty low when we get to the Golem in order to trigger the sword cutscene as quick as possible. So you should have like a very specific set of damage boosts you take on the way through. I would also recommend doing RNG manipulation for this stage. It's really basic. There's not many ways of messing it up, really. So things that affect the RNG is like killing enemies and shooting lemons at walls. Sliding on walls and kicking up smoke clouds will also affect it, but that shouldn't really come up in this stage since we don't do any wall climbing. So I'll just go through and say like which enemies I kill, and we're not going to shoot any lemons at walls in this stage. There's no need for the RNG. So we kill that guy there. Take a damage boost from the spider. Note that you only take 1 damage when you get hit by the spiders, whereas you take 2 when you hit the nest. So in order to not be too low on health, you should get hit by these spiders. Just jump into them. And then shoot that spider there for RNG. Dash into that nest, and this one. You'll notice I'm loading my states really conveniently as I play. That's something I highly recommend when practicing, is just having the save and load state buttons on your controller itself. With the controller I use, I've got 2 shoulder buttons, so I use the front ones for things like dashing and shooting, and then the ones in the back for saving and loading state. You will just want to not have it set up like that when you're doing actual runs, so you don't accidentally load in the middle. But for practice, it's invaluable. Here we can just clear this nest and move on by jumping near the end of there. And then we take a damage boost on these Pantheons. If you time your jump right, you can get pushed forward instead of back. It's a minor time save. The visual reference is somewhere around here. You can see that line in the background that I'm kind of centered on. The timing's not completely free, but like I said, it's not a big deal if you get boosted the wrong way. And then we're going to get hit by both of the bombs in here. Again, you can get boosted forward if you time your jump at the right place. There is a bit of a trick here, though. When this bomb explodes, it can kill these Pantheons, and generally it will kill both of them. But if you go really far forward, sometimes it won't hit the second Pantheon, and that will affect your RNG. It's pretty rare in my experience, but it can happen. And if that does happen, then this Pantheon here will drop health, and you're probably going to get it. It can be avoided if your spacing is just right, but it's unlikely. So you really do want both of them to get killed by that bomb, and then this guy won't drop anything. If you just hit the bomb from the left side, you'll never have to worry about it not killing the Pantheon, but you will lose a little time versus getting boosted forward. For mashing through text, both A and B will advance text, so you can just roll your thumb back and forth between them. Generally they'll be right next to each other on your controller. Now here I do a setup where I just dash along the ground without pressing any directions, and that will cause you to be at a very specific pixel when you enter this fight. It's not necessarily a huge deal, but it does make it possible to get more EXP glitches on the Golem. It's just a bunch of dashes along the ground, and then you'll trigger the cutscene on the same pixel every time. Mashing through the text quickly here is really important, because you'll see the Golem is bouncing up and down during the text, and depending on exactly where he is in that cycle, it might mess up the EXP glitching. That's also a big reason why it's important to be on the Japanese version, since on English it's a lot harder to get through the text in time for him to be at the right spot in the cycle. On Japanese, it's really easy, as long as you've got half-decent mashing. When boss fights start, you can buffer inputs. So we're just going to buffer dash, jump, and right. And we'll always go right into the boss. And you'll see we trigger the cutscene right away. In order for that to happen, you need to be at either 3 or 4 health when entering the fight. Any less than that and you'll die when you hit the boss. And then any more than that and the cutscene won't trigger. If for some reason you can't trigger the cutscene right away and he starts his attack, just wait it out and you'll get the cutscene afterwards. It won't give you the sword cutscene while he's in the middle of an attack, so you just have to wait. If that does happen. But like I said, if you do it right, you'll get the cutscene before anything else. And again, get through the text as quick as you can. Now for the EXP glitch, we're going to be doing something called an extended jump slash. Normally if you jump and swing, you just get this like one attack here. But if you hold directional down, 0 holds the saber out indefinitely. That's an extended jump slash. And it has some weird properties on this fight, where you can get a lot of experience points by doing one. What you want to do is, as this sword cutscene is ending, you want to buffer the inputs for holding down, jumping, and attacking. That way, as soon as you gain control, you do this jump. And if it works, you'll notice there's like a billion yellow sparks coming out of the golem. That means you're getting a lot of experience points. And you can do this repeatedly by just starting a new jump as soon as you land. It can be a bit tricky though, to get like as much as possible. The best you can do is 4 consecutive jumps. If you try and do a 5th one, he's going to be too far forward, and the attack will just kill him. That's also what will happen if you're kind of slow on the jumps. On the 4th one, he'll just die, because he's already started moving forward, and the jump slash just hits him. The first one's easy, since you can just buffer all the inputs. For the others, it's kind of tricky, because you want to press all 3 of the buttons simultaneously. Down, jump, and attack. If you jump first and then attack after, that can really mess things up. Either you'll run low on experience, or you'll just kill the golem early, if you're unlucky. And then if you jump before you attack, it's even worse, since you'll just do a standing attack or get nothing. No, you can't hold attack the entire time, or else it won't start a new one when you jump. You could hold down the entire time, directional down, but that creates some other problems. If you're doing an attack as you land, it kind of like stops you from jumping again right away until the attack's finished. So if you're holding an extended jump slash all the way until when you land, then there's going to be a delay before you can jump again. Like you'll see, I'm just missing the timing, because even though I'm landed, I'm still considered in like some kind of a lag from still attacking. So I actually release directional down to end the attack before I land, and that lets me jump again immediately. It's a relatively advanced technique. So without much practice, it will actually be pretty tough to get all 4 jumps, but it's not necessarily a huge deal. Like you can just get 3 jumps pretty easily. Yes, holding directional down is what keeps your sword out. causes it to be an extended jump slash. Otherwise, you just do a regular slash. If you do get all 4 jumps in, you'll have over 100 experience points, unlocking spin slashes, which it's not really a big deal. Spin slashes don't really have much of a use in this category, unless you're going for a really optimal time. But it is nice to get charge slashes for the final boss earlier, if you get all 4. If you only get 3, you might have trouble getting enough EXP for charge slashes. Doing the spin slash at the end of the fight is done by just releasing and repressing the attack button. You can just start a spin at any point in the extended jump slash like that, once you've unlocked the spins. So I just start like mashing the attack button on the 4th jump, and then the spin comes out as soon as I hit 100 experience points, basically. But yeah, I would definitely recommend at least being able to get 3 extended jump slashes. Getting all 4, it's a nice bonus, but it is kind of tricky. Alright, let's move on. So we've got some dialogue here. Nothing too noteworthy. You can just smash through all of it. A little bit more here, and then press up on the transserver, and you want to select this first option. That'll bring you back to the base. Now it starts you off with a dialogue right away. There's going to be a choice partway through, and you want to select the first option, but conveniently in this option, unlike most, pressing B will not automatically select the second option. Pressing B does nothing, and pressing A selects the one you want. So you can actually just do regular mashing, alternating A and B, and it will choose the correct option every time. You don't have to worry about it. So just smash through it, and then once the text ends, press up to talk to her again, and you've got to go through some more. Then you get another option, and again we want to select the first, but on this option, if you press B, it cancels out of the menu, and you just have to talk to her again and try again. So I recommend, as you get like partway through this dialogue, just switch to mashing A individually until you get past that option. As you get like more comfortable with how long the dialogue lasts, you can time it a lot better, but I would recommend being safer rather than sorrier and just start mashing A specifically. And then right after that choice, you get a second one, and this is whether or not you want to save. So on this you want to select the second option, which you can do by pressing B, and that will just get you right into the mission. So it's like alternating A and B, then pressing just A, then pressing just B. Alright, here's the disposal center. I am not going to advise doing RNG manipulation here, and I'm just not going to cover it at all. If you want to see the manipulation, check out the All Missions tutorial for the stage. It's identical to the strats that would be used in any percent. But yeah, it's a very tough stage to do the manipulation on, so I'm not even going to cover it. There's a bunch of these rolling spike balls here. We want to kill several of them. It's like 6 or 7, I think. And it will drop a Cyber Elf, which we're going to be using later in the run. They have 6 health, so 2 lemons and a sword slash will kill them. You could also do a charged green shot and a slash, whatever you're more comfortable with. Or you could just like go up and double slash it, but I feel like that would be harder, not to mention slower. This one's kind of tricky, the second one. Like you want to fire 2 shots as you're coming up onto this ledge, but they need to be timed pretty well, or else the second shot will be fired too high. Getting used to the spacing of the enemies is pretty critical, so you know like when you should be shooting and when you should be attacking. After killing this Pantheon, I just jump up, fire 2 shots, and then in the second jump after that I go up and hit those 2. There are more spike balls than you actually need to get the elf. So you could actually skip like 1 or 2 of these things, or just like if you miss them because you mistime your saber or some such, not necessarily a big deal. You can just keep going and get the elf from one of the later ones. If you kill them all, this is the one that drops the elf. You need to pick that up. Interesting note, this group of 2 enemies here, even though it looks like 2 different types of enemies, they're actually classified the same in terms of dropping the elf. So that counts as 2. So we killed 2 before, and then that's 4, and then the 5th one drops the elf. But if like you mess it up, not a big deal. Kill that one, and then this one will drop it. If you've seen my runs, I normally climb the buildings like this. If you're not doing RNG manipulation, do not do that. Just wall jump up here. It's a lot easier. And faster generally for a human. You're going to want to start charging your buster somewhere in here. Doesn't really matter where. Just have it ready for when you get on top of this building, and then shoot that green crystal on the top of this thing. That changes the direction of the wind. You want it to be pushing to the right because it'll make you faster. If you're not comfortable with going that fast, you could just destroy it entirely and have regular movement. And then, if you've got the wind pushing to the right, just dash off of that building. Do not jump, or else you're going to land directly on this guy. Just dash, and you'll land a pretty safe distance away, and you can start a jump as you land and get over him. Timing when you're going to land is kind of tricky since you can't see the ground coming, but you can use the buildings in the background as a reference, like this big blue one. Around when its wall is getting to the edge of the left side of the screen, that's around when you'll land. You don't need to time it super precisely, but that's just a simple reference you can use. Now, if you're going at full speed with the wind pushing you, you're going to be getting ahead of the camera. And it does make things really difficult since you need to do it entirely off muscle memory. You can't see where the enemies are ahead of time. So that's why you might want to just go with no wind if you're just starting out. Or you could just slow down if you need to see what you're doing. You will not be able to jump over this third guy, this third spike pillar, if you slow down though. Even if you're going at full speed, it's pretty tough if you don't have the timing down. So chances are you're going to have to just like break those and go over it. Not a big deal regardless. Don't climb the ladders, that's slow. Just go up the wall and go across here. You'll have to wait for this thing to move up before you can go underneath it. If it's at its lowest, you won't be able to dash under. When you dash, your hitbox actually becomes shorter and wider, so you can like dash under it earlier than you would be able to walk under it. You just wait for it to go up a bit and then dash through. Sometimes that guy gets in your way, it kind of varies. Mind the spikes. Alright, let's talk about boss fights a bit. When you hit bosses, they get invincibility. Depending on which attack you hit them with, the amount of frames of invincibility they get can vary. Basically, there are two types of attacks in this game. Combo attacks, and then regular ones. A regular attack gives the boss 90 frames of invincibility. That's 1.5 seconds. A combo attack gives 12 frames. That's not many seconds. So you can do repeated combo attacks to damage them much more quickly than you would be able to if you used regular attacks. The combo attacks we have access to in this run are the first 2 hits of the 3-hit combo, so just pressing B while standing on the ground, and then spin slashes. Spin slashes aren't ideal. For one, they only do 2 damage, and also it's tricky to hit bosses with spin slashes without like giving them regular invincibility, since the start of the jump slash is a regular attack, like that. And also the end of the spin slash, so that's not really a viable option in most cases. And like I said, it only does 2 damage each, so it wouldn't be a good idea mostly. Instead, we'll generally just be using these 2-hit combos. 8 quick damage, simple to execute. Now, hold on, let me go somewhere out of this fight to demonstrate this. So normally there's a bit of a delay between when you can do one combo and when you can start the next. If you try and attack too fast, either you'll do the 3rd hit of the combo, if you've got that unlocked, otherwise you'll just kind of like stand there. You have to wait and give the combo time to end, but there are ways of making it go faster. For example, if you take a tiny step forward after the 2-hit combo, you can start a second one much more quickly than if you were just waiting. Like so. The other option is firing a lemon after the 2-hit combo. So That's walk canceling, I'll call it, where you walk forward a step to cancel the combo, and buster canceling, when you fire the buster to cancel the combo. Buster canceling is faster, like you can do the combos more frequently, but it's much more difficult to execute and also more dangerous. The danger being, if you hit the boss with the lemon you fire, then they're going to get full invincibility from that, 90 frames, and you're only going to do 1 damage. With walk canceling, there's not as high of a risk of making a mistake like that. It is possible though. For example, if you try and start your next combo while you're still walking, you'll do a walking slash, like that. Those are bad. Since it's not a combo attack, again, it will give full invincibility. And it only does 3 damage. So you'll end up having to like do an extra hit on the boss, generally. Most attacks, including this 2-hit combo, do 4 damage each from the saber. So for most bosses we're going to do walk canceling. It's a lot safer than lemon canceling, and generally a lot more viable. Lemon cancelling's only a good choice if you're standing like right next to the boss. If you're far away from them, it becomes very difficult to do. Alright, so let's apply this to Falcon. You can only get 1 combo in at first, but if he starts going to the right, then you can like get 2 quick combos in by taking a step in between. It works just as well if you're going to the right or to the left. Like, you can turn around with the tiny step instead of just walking forward. Now, since we didn't do RNG manipulation for this stage, there's a few different things Falcon can do. Generally, he's always going to start the fight by jumping up on the left side. There are ways of causing that not to happen though. Like if you dash after you take this damage boost at the start of the fight, it will cause him to like choose a new attack, as opposed to always going up onto the wall. So on this particular RNG I'm at, he's deciding to turn around most of the time, which is it's a lot better than having him jump on the wall. Since if he does that, you can't reach him with your regular combos on the ground. I mean, you can turn around and hit him once as he's going up, but while he's up there you just have to wait. You'll notice he just keeps jumping back up there. That's because I'm staying over there on the left side. If I just stay over here, he's going to jump back up there every single time he comes down. So do not stay on the left side of the platform after he jumps up. Get your hits in, you can hit him with a jump slash and then wait over here and he'll do something else. He won't jump back up on the wall if you're over here. If he does jump, it's a good idea to go up and hit him with a jump slash. It gives full invincibility, but since you have to wait anyways, you might as well take the damage. And then I like to take a damage boost off these little blue lightning things he shoots. That way, after he comes down, I'll have iframes, and I can just go at him and not worry about him bumping into me. So take a damage boost and then just go up and start doing 2-hit combos repeatedly. You can also do a different attack where he just like stands on one side of the screen and starts shooting. Let me see if I can get him to do that. Yeah, if he does that, just go up, tank a hit if he hits you, and then start doing combos. Unless you're too low on health. Generally, if you're quick about it, you can end the fight before you'll die. If you're not entirely confident that you can do the combos quickly, or if you're kinda low from the stage itself, you might need to actually try dodging his attacks. Which, that's not good, because dodging Falcon's attacks is actually really time consuming. Like, it's tough to approach him while also avoiding getting hit. You can kinda like stay on the walls and just kinda come in for the occasional hit. When he's standing at full height like this, you can fit underneath his weapon and get attacks in. Oh, he also does this attack every now and then. Just keep dashing away until he stops. So I can like go in here and get some hits in. Oh dear, he's just going for me. You can get jump slashes in on him while he's doing this, if you're confident. But yeah, if you do have to dodge like that, like I said, it's pretty bad. I would recommend being confident taking damage boosts on this guy, and also being consistent about getting through the stage without taking 1 billion damage. The third hit of the 3-hit combo does 5 damage instead of 4. You won't generally have that at this point in the run. It's generally not a good idea to do though, since the third hit gives full invincibility. It's not a combo move. Alright, so after Falcon, we go over here to the Transerver, and then we're going to want to equip that Cyber Elf we got in this stage from the Spike Balls. So that's this second option, and then you press A again to select which slot you're putting the elf in. Scroll down to the second page, press A once to select the page, again to select the elf, and then press B to get out of the menu. Third hit of the combo is a good finisher if they're at 4 or 5 health. It is faster to do than starting a new combo. Okay, so select, 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 go back. And then select the top option to end the mission. Seal talks a bit more, and then you get this dialogue at the bottom telling you you got the escaped unit. While that dialogue's there, you can't talk to Seal again. But if you hit this door, it triggers a different set of text that will actually override the escape mechanism thing, and you can mash through that text, unlike what comes up here. So you just hit this door, mash through it real quick, and then go talk to Seal. Interestingly, you do not need to face Seal when you talk to her. You just need to go over here and press up. You do need to be like relatively far to the left. This is too close to her, you can't talk from here. Over there is around the closest you can stand while still being able to talk. So clear the text, go over here, press up. Top option is for selecting a mission. Second option is the one we want. mash through the text a bit, and then she's going to ask you if you accept the mission. Again, we want to press A on that. If you press B, you cancel out of the dialogue, and it brings you back to mission select. So mash for a bit, and then switch to just pressing A to get into the mission. Now we're going to want to escape out of this, because we don't care about doing the regular missions in any %, we just want to get to the end game. So as soon as you gain control, pause, scroll up, and that'll take you to the escape mechanism, which is this glowing red button. The menu scrolls, so you can just go up from the buster to the escape mechanism. Press A to select that, A again to confirm, and you go to the purple screen. Do not select this first option. That causes you to retry the mission. You want to go down to the second one, which is giving up. Make sure to wait for this screen to fully load before trying to scroll down. If you try and scroll down while it's still like fading into this, it won't register the input. And then if you press A right after that, and you're still on this top option, you're going to waste a bunch of time. And a continue. So fail out of that. Seal will tell you it's alright in Japanese. Don't feel too bad. Talk to her again, top option, and then we're scrolling all the way down to the 4th mission here. This is the mission we want because when this mission is failed out of, it causes you to go right to the end game. So again, pause, fail out, give up, and then you're at the end of the game. Relatively large amount of text to mash through here. The 4th option is the second one that you fail out of. So the two missions you fail out are the second option and then the 4th option. The 4th one is also the one at the very bottom of the list. Alright. So we get a bunch of dialogue going into the endgame stuff. Little cutscene and all that. And then Seal's going to ask you if you want to save at the end of this. So again, we're going to want to press B to decline to save. Unless you actually do want to save your game. The way lives work in Mega Man Zero is kind of unforgiving. Basically, if you run out of lives, you can't retry the mission you're on. Your only option is to load a save. So especially with the endgame missions, it might actually be a good idea to save as you're going into them. That way, if you lose a bunch of lives, you can reload and go from that. Because if you are getting into the final mission without any lives to spare, you're probably going to have a bad time. But it's your choice. This mission coming up's not too difficult. With some practice, I think you'll generally be able to get through it without a death. Monkey Boss can kill you pretty easily though. It's up to you. But the option will happen after this screen shake here. You get like one dialogue box after that, and then you can choose to save, or you can just press B to go right into the mission. We want to go down the elevator and in here, past this guy. Now, if you're confident with the timing, you can just like fall all the way through here and then land like in this passageway. But you might mess it up and slide on the wall a bit. If you're going for RNG manipulation, that's a concern, because if you kick up smoke clouds there, that's gonna mess things up. So it might be safer to just fall all the way to the bottom and then jump up from there, if you're not confident and are going for RNG. You'll see me shoot the guy with a big arm with a buster right before I jump over him. That affects his hitbox and makes it so it's possible to get beyond him and get pushed to the right by the damage boost. If you just try and jump over him regularly, you're going to get pushed the wrong way every time. So shoot him with the lemon right before you jump over him, and you'll get pushed to the right. RNG manipulation on this stage is kind of finicky, but it's not that difficult, I would say. So make sure you're careful about doing everything right, but there's nothing that's actually very difficult. So make sure to shoot this guy with the lemon if you're going for it, and then go through here and start charging your buster during this screen transition. You can't carry a charge through the door. You just lose the charge as you go through. And then we want to hit each of those pantheons with the saber once, and then fire the shot as we're going out the door. So you'll see I kind of go in between them and then turn back and forth with the saber. I hit to the right and then to the left. That's the most efficient way of hitting all of them, but it can be kind of tricky depending on how exactly they're spaced. If you do spin slashes here, you might kill some of them with the saber instead of the buster. That's not a problem for the RNG. You can kill all those, shoot that guy, and you're going to end up on the same value when you leave. Not necessarily a big deal. Just make sure you do not kill them all with the saber, because that will affect it. Also, if you don't make it out the door as you shoot the last one, that's also going to put you on a wrong RNG. So you want to make sure you're close to the exit as you fire the shot, so you can definitely get out before it hits the last pantheon. And it causes a weird little glitch where you'll actually be a pretty substantial distance from the door when you get out. So it's a nice time save on top of being important for the RNG. Now, there's an interesting thing with those pantheons. Let me go back and show that off. So if we go in here, they're going to be in a certain position. There's two near the center, and then one all the way to the right. What's interesting is that those pantheons are actually loaded even before you go in this room. If I just waste a bunch of time and then go in, they're in completely different spots, because they keep walking around even before you go in here. So where exactly they are in this room is going to be affected by how quickly you get to it. If you get here around as quick as possible, they're going to look like that. But if you're slow or something gets messed up, it's going to be different. So you need to be able to react to where they are in the room and decide how best you want to hit them. If they're like this, you just go between them with a slash, jump to the door, fire the shot, and then go out. But if it's something completely different, you kind of just have to improvise. Alright, now you get some more dialogue over here. That's just telling you the elevator's working again, so you can get up to where the boss is. This guy's in our way on the way back, but if you time your jump from the right spot, you can get through him without much loss. Generally you want to just barely clip that corner, and you'll sneak past him. The visual reference I use is there's those two metal bars on the floor, and that space in between them that I'm standing on top of. That's around where you want to jump from, the center of that. If your jump's really well spaced, sometimes you can get through without hitting the corner or taking a damage boost, but that's pretty rare. And then if you're too far to the right, you'll get hit by the guy, which that might actually affect the RNG. These guys attack randomly, so every time they decide on what their attack is, it's going to affect the RNG. So you want to make sure you get through here in a consistent amount of time each go. And the simplest way is to just clip the corner a little bit and then move on. Now we've got a relatively long climb here. We're going all the way up to this path. You go past data and then up into the left. With my RNG manipulation, I want to, at some point during this climb, fire one shot into the wall and kick up one smoke cloud. The best way to do those things is simultaneously, because with certain attacks, if you're doing them when you jump off the wall, it will kick up a smoke cloud even without you sliding on it for a while. Even just from a regular wall jump, you kick up a smoke cloud if it's after you've fired a lemon. So you'll see me fire a shot as I'm doing this wall jump, and that's kicking up a smoke cloud and hitting the wall with the lemon, and that'll put you on the right RNG. Okay. So after we get past this guy, I'll fire a shot as that wall as I'm going for the wall climb. And then just go up from there. Yeah, you need to fire the shot before you do the wall jump. The timing's not super precise, you can shoot relatively early and still get the smoke cloud like that, or it can be almost simultaneously, but you do need to fire the shot first. Alright, now we've got another one of these to get by. We do the same thing as the first one. We just shoot him with a lemon as we jump over him, and if done correctly you'll get damage boosted the right way. Spacing's pretty generous. Not that difficult. Just don't be too close or else you'll still get boosted the wrong way. Be further back like this and you're fine. And jump over those two and then jump from the center of this door and you should be able to clear the one on the left. Go down the ladder. And you're at the boss. Now if the RNG was done correctly, he'll just run at you right at the start. And that's the optimal pattern, because you can just start comboing him. This guy gets knocked back every time you hit him, if he's not in the middle of doing certain attacks. So you can just combo him infinitely. this is a really good place to try and do lemon canceling, but it's a risky proposition, since if you fire the lemon too late, you're gonna hit him with it and he'll get a bunch of iframes from it, and it's a huge pain. So for a beginner, I would recommend just doing walk cancels, or in this case dash cancels, until you get him to a wall, and then you can just do walk canceling from there. Just still knock him forever. You can do 2-hit combos on this guy, but there's actually an added risk there, where if you do the 2-hit combo too quickly, the second hit won't actually cause him to enter knockback. Oh, I was standing too far away. So first swing knocks him back. Second swing hits him, but he doesn't take knockback from it, because he was still recovering from the first swing, and then he'll just run away and do whatever else. So if you are going to do 2-hit slashes, you need to deliberately be slow with the combo, so that the second hit does knock him back. It's not a bad idea to do, since you do get more experience points from a 2-hit combo. The second hit gives 2 experience points, whereas the first only gives 1. But if you can't do it consistently, just stick to 1-hit slashes with a tiny step in between. You can also do regular walking in between the slashes even when you're pushing him to the wall, but personally I prefer dashing, just because I have a much easier time keeping up with him, and then switch to walks when he gets stuck in the corner. You definitely don't want to dash there, or else you will get too close to him before the fight's over, and you'll end up taking a hit. Now, if he starts doing other attacks, either if you drop the combo or if you've messed up the RNG, you need to be prepared on how to deal with that, since this guy can kill you pretty quick if you're not comfortable with avoiding his attacks. So let's look at it a bit. With the fire ring, you want to stand close to him. You see him jump up into the air and start hovering like that? Get close. And then you can start a combo as soon as he lands. If you try and attack him too early as he falls, you won't start the combo, since he's still doing other stuff. You can't knock him back there, and then he can have time to start another attack. So wait until he lands, and then start slashing. If he throws the monkeys, stay back and just kill them as they land, because if those things latch onto you, it's a huge pain. They do a lot of damage, and the actual damage from it happens a while after the monkey latches onto you, so it can just mess up your combos later. If he's going up to the wall like this, he'll always jump off the same distance, so you can just get used to the spacing and be ready for where he's going to land. And then start a combo, again, as he lands. If you swing at him while he's still in the air, it's not going to work. He'll get a chance to start a new attack. Alright, I think that's all we need to know about him. To end the mission, you need to pick up the cyber elf you dropped. Just dash into that. And then we get a bunch more text. Yes, you can just end that fight with a 3-hit combo if you have that unlocked. Like if you've gotten enough experience points. In my route, if everything's gone according to plan, I normally get the 3-hit combo like right at the end of that fight against the monkey. But it's not entirely consistent. If you're running a bit low on experience, you won't have it. Alright, so Seal asks you if you want to save after all that dialogue. I would actually recommend, yes, definitely save here, if you're not very confident in the Neo Arcadia levels. Because you can take a lot of deaths in all of them. So, save here. Get through the rest of the dialogue and then go over here. We want to send the elevator up and drop down. So you just hold up as you're dashing into it and then quickly dash back. If you get stuck on the elevator, you're going to look like a fool. You would either, I guess, like send the elevator up again and fall all the way down, or I don't know, just ride the elevator down. Not recommended. And we're going in here to trance. Top option to select where we're teleporting to, and then this fourth option, the one with the really long name. That's the Neo Arcadia Shrine. Now, this is where difficulty really ramps up. I don't think I'm going to cover RNG manipulation for this stage. It's too involved for a beginner run. So, we'll just worry about getting through in one piece. Maybe some basic RNG manipulation on these robot dogs at the start of the stage, but not for the bosses. So, whether or not these dogs jump is a product both of the RNG value and based on your movement in the stage. So, depending on whether or not you're jumping, they may or may not jump. You'll see if I just like dash along the ground like this, he catches me. Whereas if I jump over there, I normally jump onto this platform and then jump off of it. He will jump over me and I can just dash underneath. When you get to this spot, you can just dash and jump all the way across. It's kind of tight. You need to be like pretty much on the far right side of this little section to be able to make it across. But it beats like going too early and having to wall jump there or something. That'd be sloppy. So just jump all the way across, kill that vulture as you go, and this one as well. In fact, just kill all the vultures. Except that one. Don't kill the one that's up here. That's completely out of the way. Now for here, you want to do the opposite of the start of the stage. You want to jump across, or rather dash across the ground instead of jumping, and then this way will go over you. If you do a jump right as you land on this platform, he'll stay on the ground and catch you. You need to dash here, and that will cause him to jump. And then you can just go underneath. Again, that will vary based on the RNG value, so if you do something differently, like if you don't kill the same vultures, you might get different results. If you're not sure what the dog's going to do, just kind of approach them slowly and see. Let's see. So just go slowly. If it jumps, just get rid of it, and then move on. You can only really go through full speed like that if you are certain what they're going to do. Alright, now this room's full of a bunch of these lightning bars. It's kind of a pain. There's two ways you can do this spot at the beginning. You can either just do a regular wall jump here, or you can go off this left side. I think going off the left side is way more stylish, especially if you clear this perfectly, but just doing this would probably be easier. And then you'll have to wait a moment for this second bar to get out of the way before you can dash underneath. Again, you'll have to wait a moment here. If you just go up at full speed, this thing's going to get in your way. So wait, and then go up here. And then once that last one is vertical, just dash through and hit this door. You don't need to worry too much about your speed in this segment, because the platforms above you are on a fixed cycle. So if you're not confident with this dog, you can kind of wait a moment, and then you'll still be able to reach this platform without really losing much time. You can hit that this platform with a green shot as you're approaching it, and that will trigger it a bit earlier. It won't necessarily save time, because again, you'll have to worry about the cycle of the moving ones, but it might work out better for you. Now, this vulture that's up here can be really effective at trolling newer players. He's just got their number for some reason. But it's not too bad once you get the timing down. You just jump up and slash him. You're going to want to wait until this platform you're on is relatively high up on its cycle, which is like here or so. Near the top. Then you can just jump up and slash him. If you try and jump too early, you won't necessarily reach him. Maybe he'll reach you. It's a bad luck. Just be patient, land on this platform. And then you can normally go underneath the vulture that's over here without much difficulty. But you could probably just slash him as well, or just wait for him to go past. Alright. Now these guys, they can be kind of a problem. The optimal strats involve spending a lot of time standing on these spikes down here, which is obviously pretty dangerous. And this is a bad place to be taking risks, because you do not get a checkpoint in this stage until you get to the actual final boss of the stage. Neither of the mini-bosses will give you a checkpoint. So having a safe and consistent strat is much more advisable than trying to save a few seconds until you're really confident. So just get good at staying on the platforms and getting some hits in when you can. These guys really don't hurt very much when they hit you. Like, you take 1 damage from their shots, And just like find places where you can stand underneath them and get a bunch of hits in as they're coming up or going over you. And it's really not too bad. Like, you don't have to worry about jumping at them with a bunch of spin slashes or anything crazy, or trying to chase them down there. It's just stay on the platforms and swing at them when they go by. It's easy. Like I said, you don't have to worry about the damage you're taking. They're only doing one damage per shot, so just take the hits, swing at them when they go by. Nothing to worry about. You do not need to grab the elves they drop in order to open the doors. Those are completely optional elves. Alright. This room has some trickiness. Optimal strat is to, well, optimal humanly viable strat is to take a quick damage boost off that guy as you go underneath him, and then you can just get past this one. These guys also only do 1 damage when you hit them, so really not a huge deal. But if you're concerned about your health, which is a good thing to be concerned about, since the mini-boss coming up after this is quite deadly, you can just kill him, hope for some health drops, avoid taking unnecessary damage. Just get good at killing them quickly before they fire a bunch of nonsense at you. This jump's not too hard, just like you want to land on the right side of this platform because you won't be able to reach otherwise. Like, you can't jump high enough to get over here. This is as far to the left as you can land on this ledge, so just land on the right side and then go up from there. This one's even trickier. You need to hit like the very left side of this. You cannot get up over here. You can get up over here, which is further than I expected. But just like understand that you can be quite a ways off the ledge and still land on it. So you don't need to land like here with your body entirely on this platform. You can land here where it's just like your right foot's on it. So you'll have a much easier time actually hitting this platform if you lean to the left side like that. Not that far. That's excessive. You can also just get like a visual cue for when to jump here. That will put you at a good spot. Like normally right when it levels off will get you plenty far enough. And then here's the sword dancer. Let's go through this once more at like a full speed. You can just hit that guy's helicopter as you go by, and he'll fall down and get out of your way. Now, I mentioned that this guy is very deadly. He can do a lot of damage to you really quickly. I think his attacks generally hit for 4 each, so be good at avoiding his hits before you're good at killing him quickly, because that's the first priority, is being able to get through the stage alive. Like I said, you do not get any checkpoints. If you die to this guy, you're back at the start of the stage. You'll have to fight the Pantheons again, you'll have to go through all that nonsense, so be very confident in avoiding his attacks. Now the optimal strat is to jump across when he's doing the attack where he throws his swords at you. But if you haven't done RNG manipulation, you don't know for sure what he's going to do. I do not recommend trying to jump across to the far side. since if he starts the fight by jumping at you, he's just going to jump into you as you try and go over him, and it won't work. So you can just kind of like approach him cautiously, hit him at max range, and he'll actually spend a lot of time jumping away from you if you do the fight like this, where you just chase him around and keep hitting him. So just get very confident about the range of your attacks and like how far he's going to jump and all that, and then just chase him around the room, slashing him. The tricky part is when he starts to spin. It changes his hitbox and makes it quite a bit more difficult to catch him with the saber. You have to be standing closer to him than you would normally expect. So, like if I'm over here, that's not hitting. I need to be like right on top of him to catch him out of the spin. And you can either try and get really close to him, or you can wait for him to move forward. He moves very slowly at the start of the spin, so you can just wait here and catch him as he moves forward. And then just keep chasing him around. You can take a hit or two if you didn't come in here with nothing. It's not a huge deal, but do not give him time to like start swinging his swords at you or doing any of that other nonsense. Although, let's look at the attacks he can do, just in case you find yourself in that situation. So, if he starts throwing these things, they're not too hard to dodge. Jump over the first one, the second won't hit you, and then dash under the third. You can jump over the third hit, but that's a lot more difficult. Just dash underneath it, get some hits in, then go back. Or, if he's not up against the wall like this, you could get to the far side after getting past his swords. And that way you'll be able to attack repeatedly without worrying about getting hit when they come back. But that's not always an option. So, be prepared to have to dodge them on the way back as well. Yeah. Even jumping over him's kind of tricky just on the spacing. But if you do, you can get a lot of free hits in. Let's see, the other thing he can do is like, he'll just jump at you and start swinging his swords. That's probably the most dangerous. Yeah, this. If you see him jumping through the air like that, you can get to the far side if you're close enough, and that's pretty safe, since he won't like turn around in the air or anything crazy like that. And then you can just catch him as he lands and start comboing him again. If you can't get to the far side, then just get a ways away and see what he does next, since you won't be able to start a combo safely from that without like getting caught by the sword. If you try and go in right after he lands like that, you can see this can happen. He just starts another attack right away and you get caught. So just see what he does and then react to that, if you can't get to the far side. If you can catch him right as he lands, and it's a lot safer. Practice this boss a lot. Be very confident that you can clear him without taking any hits, because like I said, he does a lot, and dying in here is the worst. Alright, this section's not too difficult. Take the health. Even if you've got like, quite a bit of health like this, just take this health capsule. Taking damage boosts on the boss of the stage, Merulius, is generally a good idea for clearing him fast. So you're probably going to be saving time by getting this health, despite the healing lag it causes. Jumping this turtle, it does take relatively precise positioning and movement. It's not that hard, but you might have trouble with it at first. It's not a big deal if you mess it up and like take an extra hit, but you will have less health to work with, and it might throw you off on the block cycles. So we get past that, and then you want to go pretty far forward before you jump here, or else you'll get caught by the shot this thing fires. Go far forward, then jump. And then we just jump into this turtle for a damage boost. And we dash into this guy for another one. Do not jump into this purple guy for a damage boost, because the spinny, spiky rollerblade thing he's got does more damage than hitting his body directly. Hitting him directly does only 1 damage. So you just dash into him, 1 damage, not a big deal. And you go over this edge, pause, go to the right, and activate your Cyber Elf. That will cause you to float up when you go into the pit. While you're doing this, you can control yourself with the directional pad, fly around at will, and then you can cause it to end at any time by pressing A. We're going to want to go up and to the left. You can just hold those directions right from the start, and as soon as you gain control, you'll start going up here. And as you make it over this ledge, just press A to end the flying early. And if you've done everything correctly, this block here will be conveniently right where you need it to get through. You do not need to go like all the way across the puzzle like this. Do not try it, just do a dash jump off this block and you can reach the next platform. Even though you can't see it ahead of time, just go for it. It's right there. You don't even need to wall kick if your jump's timed well. Easy peasy. And as soon as you get over there, the next block should be right there for you, like this. Then you just wait a while until a bit after that the shot's gone off, and then do a full jump, and the next block should appear right underneath you. I guess that jump was a bit early. It's a few moments after the shot it fires is off screen, so wait, then jump. You want to be standing around the center of the block when you jump up. If you're too far on like the left or right side, then you might just get pushed off in that direction by the next block. But it's really not that tricky to get onto the next one, like as long as you've got a general idea of what the timing is. Even if you go kind of early, you'll generally just get like zipped into the block when it appears, even if you're not like directly on top of it when it shows up. Now if something goes wrong and you can't get up like that, you'll have to do the puzzle somewhat regularly, at least for the first section. You can get all the way up to here from the first block. It's kind of a tricky jump though. You might be better off going to the second one. I would also recommend killing this turtle guy while you wait, so it doesn't get in your way. Then you can just go up to here, wait for the block, and then go across. Alright, Merulius. There's not too many different attacks he can do. Generally, you're just going to want to go up and start swinging at him. If he jumps up like that, just clear out, wait for him to come down, and then go back to swinging. You can get a jump slash in while you wait. You might have to get on the walls a bit. If he dashes at you or does this attack, you can do a lot of damage pretty quickly just by taking the hit and swinging. If you've got plenty of health when getting here, that's what I would recommend. Just like dodge when he jumps up into the air and does this thing, but when he's doing any of his ground attacks, just stand there and take it. But if you do have to dodge the attacks, you can just jump over them. Really not that bad of a fight once you're confident. Oh yeah, you need to get that cyber elf before you can get out. Little dialogue as you go to these doors. If you want to save, which I would recommend, you're going to want to go through here and go back to the resistance base. It's kind of a pain, but you run the risk of losing a lot of lives in the upcoming stage, so might not be a bad idea. This will take you back to seal. You can just second option to save. Yeah. Second option, then the first in this menu is to save. Then you can overwrite your file. And then you can just select the mission and it'll bring you back. You don't need to go back to the trans server. If you don't want to save, you can just move right through. And now we've got the tower. We're going to be riding this elevator for quite a ways. There's a bunch of enemies around. I don't recommend going for RNG manipulation in here. It's not the hardest stage to do it on, but it is the hardest stage just in general. So you probably don't want to worry about it if you're starting out. So just kill the enemies if they're convenient. Dodge the shots by jumping over them. Just do whatever you can to get through here without like taking a billion damage or anything. You'll probably be able to heal up from drops as the elevator's going past these guys if you do take some hits. I do not recommend going for elevator skips until you're very confident in them and capable of putting a lot of time into practicing it. So, just ride the elevator regularly. Get this guy out of your way, and then we can start going up. Here, the most efficient way to get up is to do a jump here and catch this wall. It's kind of tricky though. Like, you need to really be at the peak of your jump before you can catch that. And you also need to be pretty far on the right side of this ledge. Otherwise you'll just hit your head on the ceiling here. Some people will like wall kick off of here. You have to be really low when you do the wall kick, so it can be kind of a trick, but it works for some people. You could also just ride one of these platforms. Whatever works for you. Be very careful about not hitting those spikes above you. They look like they were kind of out of the way, but there's a few ways you can end up hitting them. Like, if you go up twice there, you might be kind of close to them. Actually, no, you have to do 3 wall jumps there before you're at risk of hitting them. Two wall jumps is fine, and then that'll get you all the way across generally. But if you don't go high enough up when you go across here, if you do a wall jump off that right side, you can reach the spikes. Like if you go off there, that's bad. Do not do that. You can either go high enough up that you clear this gap entirely, or you can just do a short wall jump off this side. Again, whatever works for you, just be careful. And then a couple wall jumps on this side, and that will get you plenty high enough to clear those spikes. Now here you can take a damage boost off this guy and go up these spikes. It can be kind of tricky, since you need to have the right height on this wall to both get far enough to reach that guy without like hitting the spikes above you or the spikes below you. So that can take some practice, just getting to the right height. It's basically just 3 wall jumps, 3 like pretty much full length or even completely full length wall jumps, because you can affect your height based on how long you hold the jump button. Like you can do really short jumps, but that's not very practical. Just 3 full-sized wall jumps and then go across. These moving platforms can kind of get in the way though. Like sometimes you'll land on that one if something's wrong with the cycle. Or if you're really late, sometimes it will be there when you're bouncing off this guy. And then you'll like kind of slide off it and it will throw off your timing. So there's a few ways this can go wrong, and it's kind of scary. But in my experience, when you try and like play it safe and just ride the elevators, there's a lot of other stuff that goes wrong. Like you won't always have a clear jump onto this guy, depending on how the cycles are lined up. Like if you're still getting shot at by this helicopter guy while you're trying to get up through platforms, it can be kind of risky. And you can just get really messed up. So find a way that works for you, and you can do it confidently and consistently. Confidence is really essential for this stage. Like you can't just like be nervous about your strat and decide like, okay, I'm gonna do it the intended way because that'll be safer. If you're not really practiced in getting through on whatever the intended or safer way is, you're probably just gonna mess it up and die. Just have an approach to get through and then do it. Even if it feels dangerous, if that's what you're used to, that's what's more likely to work. Do not go for the strat where you damage boost off those lemons and then climb up the right side. That's a bit advanced. Just get on this platform, wait for these two to be lined up. Don't try and jump across early. Like, you really need these 2 platforms to be on that horizontal section where they're going in each directions. allow me to show you why. So like if this thing's still going up, you're not going to make it. You need to really wait until it reaches the top of its path and starts going across, and then you can go over. That guy normally won't shoot at you, but sometimes he will. You could have a green shot ready and just like shoot him as you go up. Generally this thing will be in a good spot so that like right as you're getting to the top of this platform, you can just jump across to this one. Not always though. So if that platform, the next one after this, isn't available, you can just go to the wall and climb up. You might get hit by that turret while you're on here, but it's not a big deal. Definitely do not go for the corner jump. This is probably the most dangerous part of the tower. So go up, kill that guy, and then you want to wait for that platform in the middle. There's a few different ways you can do this. You can either just go to it directly from the wall like that, or you could try and get on this platform and then go through here. In my experience though, going from the wall is actually more consistent. That might just be me, but I just find that a lot easier to do. Just be very confident about like where you can jump from here without, for example, hitting your head on that corner. Because as you can see, if you do that, you're just going to miss the platform and land on the spikes. But you have to be really high up on this wall for that to be a problem. If you're like down here, you can jump across no problem. The other concern is that annoying turret over there. A lot of people try and like shoot him to kill him, which as you can see can be done, but it's actually kind of tricky. Like they tend to move around unpredictably, and you need to hit them with a lemon and a green shot, so I don't know. If you can't do that regularly, you're better off just manipulating him to shoot in one way and then go somewhere else. So it's like, I'll stay up here in the corner, and then as the platform's coming down, drop down. Even if you get hit, as long as it's far enough over, you can still get on the platform. And getting hit isn't the worst thing that can happen, since you'll still survive as long as you get off the spikes soon enough afterward. Another thing, wait until this platform gets really low on its cycle. Do not try and jump on it as it's coming down over here or some such. Like, it might be possible in theory, but you have to wait for it to go up afterwards anyways, unless you're really confident that you can land on here and then jump up. So do not try and do that. It's just unnecessarily risky. Wait until it's all the way at the bottom and then jump across. Will I upload it to YouTube? Yeah, I probably will. Alright, once you're on here, you're through with the worst of it in terms of at least dying. There are a few more spikes in the stage, but most of them are pretty far out of the way. Just go for the corner jumps. Do it, dude. Alright, so now we've got these obnoxious lightning blocks where basically it just goes around clockwise, electrifying each side. They don't do that much damage. Yeah, just 1 damage per hit. So that's not really a problem. It's mostly just that it will mess up your climbing if you get hit by them. Let's actually here. I've got a save state that'll work for this. Okay, so you get on this platform, kill that guy, wait for this to come down. It's important to practice from the situation that things will actually be in. So when these blocks load, they always put their lightning on the top first. You couldn't see it since it was off screen, but it always starts at the top. You'll notice on the one above and to the left here. Which is good because when we get up to it, it means it will be safe on the top, at least for a few moments. So if you're quick about it, you can just jump across like that and move up. You want to wait until this platform is all the way at the top, and then you'll jump up, full jump, go off here, one quick wall jump, and that will get you on top. Simple, easy, quick, not much else to it. Again though, you are at risk of getting hit by the lightning if you're too slow on here. If you do get hit and fall off, just be ready to catch yourself with a wall jump here. Now, if something's gone horribly wrong and you somehow end up over here, don't panic. You can just do a wall jump off this right side and get on top of this first block. And then you can just jump up to the next one from there. Not that dangerous. There's these spikes and they look kind of menacing, but they won't actually get in your way. Like, you literally can't hit them with a single wall jump from this right side. They're too high up. So you don't have to worry about that. Just don't wall jump off the block itself. That seems pretty dangerous. If you end up over here, just go off the wall, then jump up to there, and so on. You might even prefer climbing up like that rather than going for these wall jumps. It's an option. Alright, now getting onto this third block's easy. Same with the fourth one. Reaching that last block, that's actually kind of tough. Like, you can do a jump here and just barely catch it, but it's you need to be very far on the left side of this block and do the wall kick at like, the very peak of your jump. And as you can see, you need to do it like right away, or else the lightning is just going to be all in the way. So it looks like that. Very smooth, but quite difficult to set up. The safer option is to just jump across to here, and then go up here and get across. You will have to probably take a damage boost from something, because there's going to be lightning and lemons in the way, but it's pretty safe and easy. And then you can just go up this wall all the way. There will be a turret here. You can kind of play it safe and try and hit him. The Rainbow Devil is a very dangerous boss, so going in with low health might not be the best idea. You might want to, I don't know, farm up on the enemies in here. Like, I think you can farm that turret pretty easily. Yeah. you can just slide down to there, a bit further, like to there. And it's very simple, easy. The one problem is that when he does drop something, it goes up onto that ledge above him. Oh, that's actually a good point. Getting the 1-up is a very good idea. Since, like I said, if you run out of lives, you're kind of frigged. You have to load a save file. So, you want to be going into the boss rush with as many lives as possible. Let me see what the best way to get at that life is. So you go up to here, take a hit, go across. Yeah, you would wait out that lightning, kill this guy, jump across, and then just get back. Maybe farm up some health. And then the Rainbow Devil. This guy is a punk. He's only got 3 different moves he can do, so it's not too bad in that regard, but if you're not relatively practiced in how to deal with them, they can be pretty tricky. So this seems like the most common move to me, is where he bounces around. This one's pretty tough to deal with. Optimally, you want to just like catch him with a slash right as he's coming down each time. And the trick is to just like see where he's going to be landing, where the various parts are bouncing, and then not get hit by them. And also timing your slash correctly so it actually catches them. Getting hit by the little slime things that are regrouping with him, that only does 2 damage. Not a huge deal. If he bounces on you though, like that was like 4 damage, I think. Yeah. You don't want that to happen. Same with if any of the parts bounce on you. That's 4 damage. So you want to focus on getting him on the ground, and then it's a lot safer. And you can just take a damage boost there and get more hits in. If you're doing all right on health. Oh man, he keeps doing this. I'd like to show off some of the other attacks, please. Please. Okay. That's something else he can do. He'll just like slide along the ground, and if he catches you, it's pretty unfortunate. And now he's not doing it again. Okay, well, here's the spinny tornado thing. Those little globs he spits out only do 1 damage? No, 2. Oh, here it is. So yeah, if he catches you, you've got to mash out quickly, or else you're frigged. Because this does a lot of damage, 4 damage each hit, so mash out quick. Optimally though, just don't get caught by it at all. Be standing far away from him when he's choosing his next attack, because if you're really close to him when he starts this, you might just get caught right away. So stand away, and then if he starts sliding towards you, just go over him like that. Go very far over him, because when he reverts back into the regular form, his hitbox actually gets absurdly tall for at least a few moments. So you can get caught out of the air. even if you think you're high enough. So just go really high over him. If you die here, you go back to right before the boss fight. So, it's not like the most costly death, but you do want to be holding on to your lives, like I said, for the boss rush. Alright, so yeah, just clear him entirely, and then go back to swinging. Maybe we can get the spinny thing. There it is. So if he starts spinning, you can go up and do double slashes for a while. You can take a couple hits from it generally, not a big deal. You have to do the double slashes to hit him, since the first slash of the swing doesn't reach. A big part of this fight is just recognizing whether or not you're going to take a lot of damage from something or a little. Like if you hit his body directly, that's very bad. That's 4 damage. But if you get hit by like the little globs he spits up, that's only 2 damage, so you can just soak it up and get a lot of hits in. It's not just a matter of like avoid every attack, because you also want to end the fight at some point. And the sooner the better. Not just for the speed run, but also for surviving. Because if you kill him quick, you don't have to survive as long. Now we get a little bit more dialogue from Seal. After that ends, you actually want to talk to her again. It gives you the regular Seal menu. You can save. Again, highly recommended. And then you can advance to the next mission like this. You can also just go through the door, but that's slower. Again, like with all missions, you want to select the top option at the end of this dialogue to go into the next one. And now I definitely won't be covering full RNG manipulation here, but I will go through at least the first 2 bosses, since that's a very simple manipulation. So, there's a bunch of Pantheons in this room coming up. We're going to have to kill some of them to get by safely. So, I fire a green charge shot at the 2 that are on this platform. And I charge another one and shoot it at that guy. I just start charging right from the start. A lemon will hit this one, but that doesn't affect anything. Lemons do not affect RNG unless they hit a wall. Or kill something. So shoot those 2. Oh dear. I fired the charge shot too high up, and it actually hit the 3rd guy as well. Let's shoot that one, and then you're free to move through. And then you're going to want to fire one more buster shot before going into the fight against Blizzak. Just be careful about when you start the second charge. If you start it right away after firing the screen shot, oops. It has a chance of hitting the wall at least. Most of the time it will go too high and not be a problem. But if you start it there and it hits the wall, then you've already done the lemon shot against the wall. You don't need to fire another one in this chamber. Generally, for consistency's sake, I just fire that shot into that Pantheon, does nothing, and then I shoot this wall here. You go up to Blizzak. You want to go to the far right side, and then catch him as he's landing. That will knock him back. You'll avoid taking a hit. He will start this Ice Beam attack, and you can just swing repeatedly. Be careful about starting your combos too early at like right after you catch him. Because if you do that, sometimes you'll knock him back twice, and it will mess everything up. It's pretty rare, even if you start swinging at full speed, as you can see, but it can happen. Normally I start with 3 single slashes and then go into the combos. And you'll end the fight sometime after the ice beam ends, if you've got pretty good walk canceling. To keep the RNG going, you want to end the fight after the first ice beam ends, and before he starts doing his next attack after that. If you mistime this first slash, and you still get hit, not a big deal. If you don't get the slash off at all, still, not a big deal. You can just start the combo afterwards, after you get hit. Doesn't matter. You'll just want to heal up after this fight, if that does happen. After every fight, you get a large health capsule over here, and a small one here. Feel free to take them if you've gotten hit at all. Then we go to Merulius next. Bottom left. And if everything's according to plan, he'll just charge at you twice consecutively. And you can just swing at him repeatedly while he does that, and get him very low before he even does any other attacks. If you do it well enough, you can end the fight before he even does that last jump attack. But it's a little bit tricky. If he does get up there, it's just the same as when you fight him regularly. Hit him with a jump slash, then wait for him to come down. Alright. Let's go back to Blizzak real quick, and I'll show what the fight's like if you don't get there with the RNG manipulation. Now if you just do whatever, no idea what he's gonna do, the fight's still honestly pretty easy, as long as you don't get really bad luck. So you're just gonna go over to the right wall like normal. Okay, he just does the same thing in this RNG. Yeah, this is what you want to see. He just does the same thing. I'll choose not to kill him and give him a chance to do some other stuff. Maybe he's just gonna be a punk. Alright, let's start with a different RNG value then. See if I can show off some of the other stuff you can do. Okay, if he jumps at you without throwing a snowball, you won't be able to knock him back in the air. He'll just stomp right on top of you. Not really a big deal though. You can just start swinging. Optimally, he'll start an ice beam after you knock him back, after stomping on you. Sometimes, as you can see, he'll keep jumping though. Just keep swinging at him until he does the ice beam.